Hello. So exciting. Welcome to day one. Hello. Thank you for joining us in the Zoom container and on Facebook. We're so excited to get started. This is Quantum Prosperity Day 1, the mystery. We're going to be illuminating the mystery, sharing with you what this mystery is. And we're so happy and blessed to be able to share this space with you and to be talking about quantum prosperity with you, what that means, how to call it into your life, how to become that. And this is just the first step of the whole journey. Obviously, setting the stage right now, no expectations about you becoming quantum prosperous after the end. We're not guaranteeing that. That's all on you. We're giving you that information. We're orienting you with the stream, and you're able to do with it what you'd like. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with Bella and Simone. My name is Ashley, and I'm so excited. Did you guys want to say anything before we get started?
So excited.
Bella, anything?
Yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah, I feel the quantum field, so I'm.
I feel nerve-sighted. I'm not normally super nervous, but I'm nervous today. Oh, I'm so excited to bring you guys into this day one. So I'm gonna get started right away. And let's see how many. We have like 65 people joining us in the Zoom room, and then I don't know what's happening on Facebook, but we will be monitoring the comments there. So thank you so much. Today is the only day that we will be going live on Facebook. All the other days we are doing this in a closed container. Distraction free. You come in here, you're here with us, and we're talking about quantum prosperity. We're going into the challenge, we're going into the quest together, and having this closed container also allows us to really take charge and work with the energy of this container instead of being influenced by social media or anything like that. We're able to actually create transformation and catalyzation in this container. So I love having you guys in the Zoom room with us because this container feels so awesome to be able to share this space with you and be in synergy and communion with you. Even though we are webinar style, we still can feel your energy and your contribution here. So that's super important to us. And so we're going to make day 2 and day 3 closed container. So you will need to register for quantum prosperity. You can just go to bit.ly/I-am-quantum, and we'll show you that link at the end, and you can register so that you can have the replays, because this is late for a lot of people that are in Europe and on the other side of the world. It is really late, but there's 3 of us. We're doing it at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and the replays will be available for you. All the other days will be recorded as well. Thanks for asking that, Ruth. Everything will be uploaded into our course, and you'll have access to that course until March 11th. So you'll be able to watch all the replays as much as you want, as often as you want, whenever you want. But I will be uploading each of those replays at the end of the day, each day. So you'll have them in the morning the next day when you go to check. But we super encourage you to be here live, because there's always something magical that happens on the live call, and being in the energy and having the experience together. Okay, perfect. So here we go. Okay. Oh, there's the link right there. That's not exactly the slide that I wanted us to be on, but to register, bit.ly/I-am-quantum, and you'll have access to all 3 days, the mystery, the challenge, and the quest. So let me get us on the page that I'm wanting. Page 1. There we go. The universe wanted you to have that link right now. Okay. So this is day 1. We are going into the mystery. And you might ask, what is the mystery? Our mystery that we're presenting you with is the mystery of your eternal glow. Now, the eternal glow is the essence that you have, the core of who you are. It's the spark that kind of catalyzes your experience here on Earth. And this essence, this eternal glow, is also here long after your body's gone. So it's there from the beginning and it's there past the end of your life. How would you, Simone or Bella, describe the eternal glow? No?
Come on, go for it.
Huh?
Hold on.
I thought maybe, Simone, you articulated it a different way than I did, and I wanted to see if you wanted to share anything about the eternal glow.
I was actually helping some people on Facebook get logged in. So
Okay.
multitasking right now.
Bad time asking.
But for me, the glow for me is the auric field and how your whole design contributes to what you're radiating out into the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're going to be orienting you with this spark, with this eternal glow that we all have within ourselves. But first, before we do that, we wanted to make sure that we did talk about what quantum prosperity is. I know that the graphics, the name, there's something that attracted you to this. Like there was something in the energy that said, I want to be here. There's something here for me. Your attractor field was working. Our attractor field was working. Now we're in resonance because we share that common thread. So we're going to kind of allow you to orient with the foundation so that we can kind of go into that quantum field and play in that field. But first, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page together. So quantum is the first thing we're going to define and describe. Simone, would you articulate what quantum means for everyone?
I'd love to do that. I love the quantum field. I love playing in the quantum field. And for me, when you think about quantum, what it is imagine that you're in your physical vessel and you are material matter. And then think about the smallest moment where you are just before you're moving into non-physical. So you're in the essence of a particle. And then when you're in that very smallest bit of energy, that particle, then you're actually able to be in the quantum field. And so that is how we think about moving from matter to light. So this, you go to the, your physical vessel, your bones, your organs, your cells, your DNA, and then what's even smaller than DNA? And then you're in that very smallest particle, and think about the light then that you are beaming into the quantum field.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Simone. And then we have prosperity, quantum prosperity. Bella, how would you define prosperity?
When I say prosperity, I think about the wheel of life, and it's like a cake, and you have these different parts, which is yourself, your friends, your family, your career, the abundance, like all these different parts. And for me, prosperity is like a flow and a balance between all these parts. So we all know that you can be super successful and at the same time have a lot of money, but you can also at the same time not be happy at all. So prosperity is this kind of matrix where all the parts of the cake are there, and you also have a flow between all these parts, so they're not stagnant. There's always an exchange with you and the world with you and your energy.
Mm-hmm. So how we would define quantum prosperity is the smallest amount of something needed to be and feel abundant. Prosperity is that which spans and bridges all dimensions, space, and time. We have a couple other definitions that we'd love to give you so that you had that background, so we're all on the same page, like I said before. Abundance. So we had a conversation before we got on here about abundance, and we were talking about abundance, and we were all getting on the same page with what abundance means. So we can all say that abundance is a lot of something, right? But I had the kind of understanding that abundance is everywhere. You're always abundant. You're designed abundant. And Bella had another idea, another thing to bring in. Bella, what sparked for you when I was saying we're always abundant? We are abundant. We're designed abundant. You brought something in that was really amazing.
Yeah, for me, it goes back to that wheel and that flow and our body, because our body is how we hold things. So if we are disconnected from our body, or we have blockages, or then how can that abundance, like flow, cannot go through us, energy cannot pass through us. And when there's no energy flow, that's where I feel like we aren't abundant. And then I came back to what you were saying. In the end of the day, there's always something there, whether it's that we are unhappy or happy, or have money or not have money. So there's always something there in 3D as humans. But I felt like to say that we are always abundant, it kind of doesn't really resonate with the experience that I always feel in myself and with others. And it's often that there is something that has blocked off. There is some part of me that has disassociated, and that's where I don't experience abundance anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were saying that abundance and your life force and your vitality were intrinsically connected. That to be abundant, you would have to choose to be in your body, and if you would be vital, you would be thriving, and you would be embodied. Abundance would be that acceptance of being here on earth, and then accepting and embracing everything here that is here for you, whether it's good or bad. But the thriving part, the being in the body part, is what's so important. And that's why vitality is a good indicator of abundance. Like Bella was saying, like if you're sick, if you're diminishing, if you're not choosing, but sometimes we are ill and it's not of our choosing, but there's part of us that is like kind of disassociating or separating, or there's not alignment happening in the body, so there's dis-ease or discomfort happening there. And so we're not going to be feeling abundant, and we're not going to be abundant because we're not also open to receiving everything in totality. Simone, would you add anything to that? Or oh, Simone, you're muted.
I love it. I love the discussion about alignment, and it really takes us to that central column in the hologenetic profile, where we talk about what your soul's purpose is, and then your attractor sphere, and then your SQ, then your pearl. And so another way that we could tie it to Gene Keys is to thinking about our alignment. So our soul's in alignment in the body, and how much, on your alignment meter, how much are you aligned? How much are you allowing, and how much are you not allowing? So love that.
Mm-hmm. And then there is a difference between wealth and prosperity. So moving into the realm of money or accumulation. So wealth is an accumulation of money or a stockpiling of energy. It's hoarding. And so this energy is kind of like the lack mentality, where it's like, oh, I might lose it or I might need it. So then we like accumulate all this stuff over here, and there's no exchange happening. It's just a hoarding. It's just a carrying. And it's heavy because you're carrying it all. And then it's also draining because there's a drag happening. So you're draining of your life force because you're accumulating all of this wealth, and it's the stockpiling. And then we have the burdens that come with that. The burdens of when you do have wealth, or you do have responsibility, and you have more than you actually need or want, and you're in excess. And then you have the burden of those responsibilities of the things that you have accumulated. And it complicates life. And then we have, and I'm curious to see, for those of you that are watching and listening, like what do you believe is wealth? What do you believe is prosperity? And do you agree or do you not agree? Because not all this stuff is supposed to be your truth or resonant with you. Like you're supposed to be able to take this in and be like, that's not for me, or this is how I define it. Like we were having conversations beforehand about abundance, about wealth, about all these things, and aligning together so that the message was cohesive. And so there wasn't like the resistance in any of our fields, because as we're coming together, it's so important. It's not just one person delivering this information, it's three of us. And so the three of us have to be in synergy. And if there's friction or we're not all on the same page, then you're going to feel it. So I'd love to know what you think as well. So prosperity is exchanging the energy we accumulate on the essential. So you can see how the accumulation versus exchange, you can see like you're giving and then you're receiving. So there's this loop that happens. There's this transfer of energy versus just holding and carrying and weighing down. And then prosperity is a state of mind that is cultivated. And then defining essential. This is something that enhances, that inspires, and that simplifies and lightens your life. So again, quantum prosperity, the smallest amount of something needed to be and feel abundant. It's prosperity that spans and bridges all dimensions, space, and time.
And Ashley, I would just add that having a lot of money, it's not given that that would be a burden or a complication. It's more that when that money is held from a fear frequency or a competition frequency, so here we are speaking about the shadow frequency of the gene keys, then it becomes a burden and a complication. If it's held in lightness and in a high frequency and in an expansive frequency, then it doesn't have the same weight. It actually can help us really to lighten up.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that clarification. Okay. So like we were saying with prosperity and how it is an exchange of energy, you're going to be able to feel that prosperity, that energy coming in and out of you. And you're always receiving something from the exchange, whether it's coming in or it's going out. And there was something that I learned recently. It's a practice called arigato your money. And that just means bringing gratitude to the exchange when you are giving money out or letting it come in. You're always bringing the energy of gratitude to that. So whenever money comes into your field and you're accepting it, we're thanking it. We're having gratitude for that coming in. And the same way that we are then spending it, like buying a cup of coffee, arigato out, arigato in. And there's always an exchange. So you're giving money to receive that coffee. And so there's gratitude because there's that exchange. And so whenever you can bring gratitude into the field, it makes it that much more abundant and stronger. And the universe is going to then bring you more of that energy because what you appreciate appreciates you. And so if you take away anything from this, something tangible, if you can bring gratitude into your practice of giving and receiving money, or anything, it's important. And Simone, did you want to, Simone has this practice she does anytime someone says thank you. Simone, did you want to talk about that? Because that's also the same like infinity loop of energy.
Oh, I'd love to, because a long time ago when I was on my journey and I'm working with my soul and my guides, and I wanted to increase how much abundance I was experiencing in my life. And I wanted, my experiment was with, I wanted to manifest actual physical things, in my life. And I was given the guidance of, well, we can't bring you physical things because you can't even receive energetic things. You can't even receive a thank you or a compliment. And I was like, huh? That's not true. And I was given the homework assignment of tracking over the next week what I did when somebody said thank you or gave me a compliment. And what I did was I just immediately, it was like pass the hot potato. If somebody gave me a compliment, I immediately tossed it to my team. If they said thank you, I immediately said, oh, well, I was just driving the bus. Everybody else was, it was the team that made it happen. I couldn't even say you're welcome. And so, I had to learn to receive the energy of a thank you, of a compliment. And then once I could receive that, I was shown, and it's exactly this energetic infinity loop, that when someone was saying thank you to me, and I wasn't saying you're welcome, what I was really doing was just letting that energy of the thank you, the love of the thank you, the abundance of the thank you, I was just letting it fall on the ground. I wasn't going to return the energy back to the other person through the acknowledgement of a you're welcome. It was a huge lesson for me. And I remember feeling uncomfortable in my body, with the, learning to say you're welcome, because it was, it was shifting everything within me. So once I started saying you're welcome, and even my friends, when they'll say thank you on text, I'll write out you're welcome. And some of them will say to me, I know you're grateful. Do you have to write it out? And I'm like, oh yes, I do. I have to say you're welcome, because I want to be in the flow of the abundance. I don't want to drop the energy. I want to keep it flowing and keep it returning and sharing it and receiving and sharing. I want to stay in the flow.
Thank you. Simone has actually inspired me to remember to say you're welcome as well, because I would always defer or deflect too, or not even say it at all. But I didn't even realize the energetic loop that it was creating when thank you, you're welcome. It's like they're giving you a compliment and you're responding back.
What is it you say here in the States? Like, like you have something weird. When somebody says thank you, you respond like, Like, that's so weird.
Another one is, I lived in Arizona for almost 20 years, and in Mexican culture, you become immersed in Mexican culture because you're so close to the border, and everyone there will say de nada, which means it's nothing. So I really watch myself from even saying that, because it is more than something to me. It is so much, because I understand truly that it's energy, and I want the universe. I want to stay in this continual, ever expanding flow of giving and receiving.
Isn't it interesting how we can look at language and what we say? Like Ellen just wrote no prob, like no problem. No, it's not a problem. I didn't say it was a problem. I was just saying thank you to you, but we're inferring that it might be a problem. So we're like, no, it's not a problem that I'm doing that. I'm doing that for you. So don't even worry about thanking me. It's not a problem. You don't need to thank me. But I don't know, it's interesting. Just start to look at your responses to things and the language around things. And that's why wealth and prosperity, they're different frequencies. They hold a different vibration. And the same thing with money. I think money is also selective of who it wants to hang out with. And I feel like we need to honor our money and the way that we have what is your relationship with money? How do you treat money? And that's going to also be like, oh, I'd like more money friends, because if you just like crumple up your dollar bills or shove them in your pocket, like I feel like cultivating an intimate relationship with money is also going to help you call more of that in.
And I feel like there might be people that are here on the call that are working like with healing modalities or coaches. And what I've felt is that for me, it was so much easier to receive money when I was doing B2B, because it's like a business that the money is coming from. And it's like, it's all about business. And then it feels like I'm not taking the money from a person. And I have found myself in a process for the last years of feeling that it's okay between human beings as well. And a funny story is that I was on a call for much longer, and the person who was on the call, she told me after, like, I know we went over, can I pay you something? And we had been working with the inner child. So I said, yeah, if your inner child wants to buy me an ice cream, I would be happy for that. But it was like it was hard for me to say even, something for an ice cream. And then when I sent my PayPal address, I miswrote it. So for a month later, she's like, oh, I don't know if you received it. Maybe it was too little. I'm like, whoa, no, I haven't seen I received anything. and it was me having written my address wrong. So it was so that shows me as well, like some of the things, and this is more what we're going to go into tomorrow, like we might feel that, like Simone, no, I can say thank you, I can receive, but then there are these little slips that show us, you know, can you really receive? Is it really that easy for you? And how are you, you know, judging? It's okay to receive from there, but it's not okay to receive from there. I can take money from this, but from this I don't feel comfortable yet. So that's something to look at, I believe.
Yeah, and I'd also like to ask you to consider how you feel in your body when you say you're welcome or when you say thank you. And also that I noticed I was watching the chat and someone said something about even with their children, they say, thank you, Mom. You know, part of what we're doing is we're training the universe. Are we ready to give and are we ready to receive? Can we say thank you? And that is the outflow. Can we say you're welcome? So, on an energetic level, if we go back to quanta and what is quantum prosperity, it's that smallest thing. So, as human beings, we aren't yet at the place where we can actually teleport our whole physical bodies. But what we are doing is we are sending our waveforms, our thought forms out into the universe. And so, how does it feel in your body when you when somebody gives you something? Is it easy? Does thank you fly out of your mouth? Or is there some resistance? Is there, you know, what does it feel like in your body? And when somebody says thank you or gives you a compliment, what does it feel like in your body to receive that, to say you're welcome? Because, you know, if you feel the resistance, that resistance is on, you know, is being broadcast through your field, through your light. It's underlying everything. So you might then overlay that a thought of, oh, I'd really like this. Why isn't it coming to me? Well, what have you been willing to receive? What have you been ready to receive? And how does that feel?
And Simone, I feel here too, the last thing I would like to say is that it's very ingrained in cultures. And many times when it comes to money, we learn to look at our beliefs around money. And maybe we see, okay, my parents, how did they manage money? In my family, I feel like there's a healthy way of looking at money. But as we're speaking right now, I remember in Spain, if you would say thank you, because my mom taught me, she's Swedish, to say thank you every time you eat or every time, you know, you take your plate and you go to the kitchen and you say thank you. And I remember my dad's sisters who would be like, oh, you don't say thank you in family, don't say thank you, why are you bringing me the plate, you know? And it was like, it was cultural. But in Spain, many times, like, you don't say thank you in family. And I feel like that is kind of reprogramming a way of not receiving, and also a way of expectation, you know. And how I also know how my cousins who are girls, they need to make their bed in the morning, but my cousins that were boys didn't need to do that because mama does it for the boys, because they're not supposed to have to make the bed. And I just felt like it was so weird. But a lot of these things that are not even around money, they still are educating us to into these things of like how to receive, how to not to receive, expectations, what we have to do, what we don't have to do.
There's that conditioning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way that you receive in all areas of your life impact the ones where you actually want to receive. So not just looking at thank yous or money or affection, or where is there resistance, like Simone was saying, in your body when something comes to you and you're wanting, like, you're not allowing yourself to completely receive it. Even if someone gives you a gift and you take it physically, are you energetically actually allowing that to come in as well? So wherever there's resistance, like, there's a story behind that for why you think you can't receive it, and what is too big of a gesture for you to feel super uncomfortable about.
Actually, I remember something that we did that a friend from LA had told me. Remember, it's like a year ago, and I know tomorrow is maybe more about taking away blockages, but this is a really interesting exercise, and they do it in like drama school. And it's, you take out your arms, and the first exercise is to it's to take your arms out, and then as you say, I take mine, you bring it into your sacral center. So I take mine, and you bring it into your sacral center, and you can say it really loud, and you feel like Simone was saying, for what you feel in the body. And then you do it again, and you do I take mine, and you bring it into your heart, and you feel what you're feeling. And then you can go in between the two, and you probably are going to feel that your voice, your feeling, your like, it's going to change depending on you bring it here and here. And that can indicate, you know, what's the hardest. Maybe you can receive with the heart, but really the primal thing, you know, there's a lot of ways of interpreting it, but just that exercise to feel that we have the right to take what's ours, that's really powerful. And I think that can also blow out a lot of the conditioning of like, we are not worthy, we can't have what we deserve, etc., etc.
I love that. Yeah, I do that a lot, and a lot comes up. All because, I mean, you shared it with me, and I was like, yes, this feels awesome, because it is commanding the energy. And there's so much in your field you don't realize wants to come in, and that hasn't come in. And there's also something about you giving back that power, that energy, to the person that, like, it's like you were holding it hostage, and now you can return it to them. Because there's energy in your field that's not yours, and there's energy in your field that you haven't completely allowed to come in. So it's so good to practice that, to sit and like Bella was saying, go into different energy centers, different chakras, and see where the resistance is, and see what comes up, because memories will start to come up, and things will start to come into you're going to feel stuff, you're going to hear stuff, you're going to see stuff. Like, I would have so many memories that would come up whenever I would say that, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm not processing, I'm not bringing it in, I'm not receiving. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow when we go into that, the shadow and the blockages. So moving on, and we talked about this before too, but this is a question we pose for you. Is your relationship with money feeding your shadow or perpetuating the wounding? So that's a question that we have for you to consider after you come off, because tomorrow we're going to be going into these blockages and these woundings. Okay, so pain. We're going to talk a little bit about pain right now, and where to go with this. So pain has a voice, and it has the ability to demand your attention. If you've been in pain, you know it's really hard to not give our attention to that, especially if it's really strong pain. And this pain can be a physical symptom, or it can be that discomfort. It could be shadows. Pain can be described in a multitude of ways, but it has a voice. It's whatever's distracting us. It's whatever's calling us away from what we're focused on. You know, it's discomfort. It's not comfortable. Pain is not comfortable. And we have to know that it has a voice, and it has the ability to demand our attention, but it doesn't get to have the last word, meaning you don't have to act or react off of that pain and let the pain dictate how you live your life. Just like the shadow does not run your life. You know, ego doesn't run your life. Your mind doesn't run your life, but sometimes we let it, because the discomfort is so much, and there's solutions that were like, yeah, if I just do this, I'll get rid of the pain. We're so scared to sit in, and accept and embrace the pain and be with it, that we'll do anything to avoid it. What do you guys say about pain and shadow and all this, and sitting in this?
I mean, that goes back to the question on the slide before. There is a wounding, and that's, I believe, why we're here. We're here to go in spirals and always find more expansion, more, you know, the expansion of consciousness goes in spirals. So we all have tasks. The soul has taken on a wound that it comes here to start to dissolve. And when we are unwilling to look at that, we fall into shadow. And that's what you're speaking about with distractions. And at the end of the day, the pain is the intelligence of the being, the intelligence of the body that says, wait a moment, listen to me. Like, what about me? What about this thing that is in my DNA that you promised as a soul to look at? I'll help you. Like, I'll scream to you until you listen. So for me, pain is that beautiful, in a way, thermometer, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, mental pain. Like, there's a lot of mental disorders out there now that we are many times in this society trying to push down. But but it's a voice, an inner voice that reminds you of the thing that you're here to help with for yourself, for humanity, for the DNA, for our evolution.
Mm-hmm. So a way that you're going to be able to recognize, sit with, and understand your pain and your shadows is always going into the Venus. The Venus is the work that you do to allow you to see where is this wounding, where is this pain, where are these shadows. It's like going inside ourselves and our relationships and seeing, you know, what are my values, what are my beliefs, because sometimes those beliefs are what is perpetuating the pain for you. And how are you dealing with your emotions? How are you not dealing with your emotions? Where is there repression happening? Where is the denial? What are these woundings that are coming up? And when you go into the Venus and you do the Venus work, and for anybody that doesn't know, this is the gene key profile, and the red spheres are the Venus sequence. And this is where we are going into those 21 years of incarnation, where we have 3 7-year cycles that are allowing us to get into our body, understanding emotional competency or not, and then intelligence, and what are our values, and what do we believe in, and then our attractor sphere, which is attracting to us what is vibrating and resonating in our field, and telling us, here's what's alive here, here's what's alive here, here's what's alive here. Let me bring this into your field. Let me manifest this into your field so that you can constantly align with your true self, with your divine self, you know, versus this wounded self. And nothing's right or wrong, bad or good, but you do want to have a certain experience. And so when you do the Venus work, you're aligning more and more with your true nature versus the conditioned self or the wounded self, because we all have a come from, and the come from is, you know, either something that's feeding our shadow, filling a hole, or perpetuating the wounding. And that could be in fear state. So do you want to operate from this come from of fear, or from this come from of abundance and wholeness and healing? Bella or Simone, did you want to add anything else about the Venus?
I think you did a great job there.
Okay. And then we have, where's the word? There it is, altruism. So the key to enter the Pearl sequence where everybody wants to be. This is where quantum prosperity is possible. This is where everybody wants to push into. The key to this, what is going to unlock this quantum prosperity for you, is for you to be in the field of altruism, for you to be altruistic. And what does that mean? It means that, again, you've resolved any of, you know, the shadow, the wounding, the shadow that's like, feed me, feed me, feed me, the wounding that's just is like so gaping, so wide, and you're just like reacting to that wounding, versus acknowledging it and accepting it. It's like, okay, this is my wounding. You know, altruism is the sense that we're whole, we're healed, and we're overflowing, and we're able to give that overflow to the world. There's no hoarding. There's no accumulation here. It is selfless giving. And selfless giving is what allows you to get into the field of quantum prosperity. The portal to prosperity is through this, you know, you being in the energy of altruism, aligning with and being in that field of altruism.
I would like to just bring in, when you said altruism, Jingi 27 has altruism in its gift level. And it's so important what we know with put your own gas mask on first. So I would say altruism, it's important to not misunderstand it. It's not to give away what you don't have. It's not to have 1 cup of water and give it away before you drink by yourself. Altruism, again, is the same thing as with prosperity. It's that balance between the flow in between you drinking and you allowing somebody else to drink. You wanting the best for the world because you have already decided that you're worthy of and you can have the best for you. I feel that's a very important, you know, foundation to altruism, is not to give everything away and love humanity and forget about yourself. It's an inclusion, it's a flow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now to bring it back back around to where we begin, your eternal glow. And this is where a lot of people want to move into and want to orient with, because there's a lot of juiciness that happens here. And this is why you're here in your body. If you've seen that movie Soul, like, what's your spark? What's the reason for deciding to come here on earth? And it's this law, this reason for being that is alive for you, that is also helping your soul expand. And so to know what that spark is, to know what that eternal glow is to also knowing what's the law that you live by. Because when you are in cohesion with this law, you are going to expand, you are going to grow. Like, you can't not. So the eternal glow, again, is your essence, the essential. What we want to tell you about this and where to find it in your chart is that what is this planet, Bella? Do you know what the
We were so afraid in the beginning, Ashley, to say something wrong. So we were like,
I thought so. In the beginning,
told us, don't say anything to slide 8.
I told them, don't talk about this planet in the beginning. You're not allowed to. We need to build up the suspense. So this planet is, Bella, what is it?
It's Jupiter.
It's Jupiter, which is also your pearl in the pearl sequence. But Jupiter is the way, the law, it's your expansion. And it's actually conscious Jupiter. So we have Jupiter in the pearl sequence. We have unconscious Jupiter, which is your culture, and conscious Jupiter, which is your pearl. And so what's awesome about your pearl being conscious is you're aware of it. It's like on the conscious side, so you can access it, you can understand it. So my pearl is 3.2. So it chaos, innovation, and innocence. Bella, what's yours?
Mine is 28.3. So it's purposelessness, totality, and immortality.
And then Simone, what's your pearl? And what's everybody's pearl? Like, comment in the chat, what is your pearl? I'd love to know the gene key and the line. And if you want to share the frequency bands, you can, for people that aren't as versed in gene keys. So Simone, what's yours?
Oh, mine is 41.4. Emanation, anticipation, and fantasy.
Oh, I love that you went from the city down. We started from the shadow up and you went down. You little rebel, you.
Oh, I'm so glad to. Thank you for asking everyone to type in their pearls. I'm loving that.
Oh, wait, we have another 28.3. Chris. Wow. It's a cool one.
It's a cool one. You guys are the daredevils. Awesome. Yay. Okay. I love seeing all yours. I'm just scrolling really quick. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. So I want to show you this chart. It's a really cool chart. It shows your whole gene key journey in terms of the planets. So you can see kind of how this all works and how it was pulled together. So if you have your human design chart, you can look for these signs. The red is going to be your design side, and the black is going to be personality. So these are the ones that make up the gene key sequence. Like, it's not this, oh, how did Richard get these? Like, there's a formula here, like they're associated with the planets. So these are the planets that you'll find in each of these spheres. So what we wanted to tell you and what we want you to know is, when you look back and everybody's wanting to be in the pearl sequence, right? I want to come here, I want to push up here. You're going to see that your personality sun, your life's work, is your doing. And then your design earth is your being. You are grounded in your core stability in your being. If you are not strong, stable, secure in your beingness, you're going to topple over, fall down, bump into things in your doing. It's not going to be aligned for you. You're going to be looking to other people in competition, in comparison, in expectations, and it's not going to go well for you. So what we like to say is that, here, I'm going to show you this new chart. I need to get everything out of the way. So this is the pathway of individuation, which is that central column, that central pillar that you see. And we have the purpose sphere all the way up to the life's work sphere. And we're just talking right now about your pearl sphere. We'll call it our holy grail. So if we are not anchored into our being, we're going to get locked out and we're not going to be able to push up or access the higher frequencies of the pearl, the life's work, any of these. So you can see it. I'm going to read it for you. The purpose sphere is your soul's purpose and what grounds me into this existence. So it's why your soul chose to come onto earth, why you're here. It's the quality of your consciousness, the purpose of your being. Your attraction sphere is your magnetic field. It's who, relationship, people, personalities, conversations, things that you attract to you on your path. And then we have the SQ sphere. This is the key to my heart, to my truest expression. And then we have the pearl, which is your holy grail, and the life's work, my outer responsibility, my role in the world. This is your doing. If you're not anchored in your being, you're not going to be able to build this like skyscraper up towards your doing. It's going to topple because there will be no foundation. So you can see that we have locks and keys. And so you're going to start to be locked out of things when you're not in, when you're misaligned, when you're in the shadow. If you are in the shadow of your SQ and your heart is not open, it's going to lock you out of accessing this other stuff. So you're going to have to go back down because odds are your heart is closed and you're probably going to be like smashed back down here into ground zero right here. And you're going to have to get back that core stability. Because oftentimes what gets us in the shadow is this pathway of challenge where we're stuck in our mind and we're just looping and looping and looping. We're not accessing our core stability. We're not in our body. We have to be in our body and choose to be here for us to start accessing these higher levels of doing, instead of doing that is based on conditioning or shadow or expectation or anything like that. Belle and Simone, did you want to come in with anything here?
The body, and this is where we're going tomorrow, I believe as well, but the first three spheres are on the red side, the unconscious side, the body side. So in order to be anchored in our being, it's not something we can do with our mind. It's not something that we can really, think to. It's something that really have to do with coming back into the body, into the energy, into the root chakra. Like, is there anything there with your survival that is still kind of fragmented or scrambled? Is there anything in your sacral chakra, your sexuality, your intimacy, like any kind of trauma, any kind of resistance or pushing away? And then the SQ, we could say that's the third chakra, or the way up to the third sphere. It's also the soul side, unconscious side. So here we are speaking about a deep cellular knowing, a deep cellular conditioning, possibly, and that's what we need to look at first, because that's how you get again to the pearl and the life's work. So you can do things in the world and you can express things in the world for fifth chakra and kind of your role. But in order for them, and this is where we come back to quantum physics as well, like it has a frequency. And it's all about that frequency. So when we are not embodying our truth, the frequency and the waveform of that is not going to be a beautiful wave. It's not really going to sound like Mozart. It's going to sound like something more fragmented. So I just want to bring it back again to say we are grounded in our being, and from that place of groundedness, from that openness in our the depth of wanting to be here, trusting life, knowing that we can survive. The sexuality, which is our life force, and also the desire nature and that split that we sometimes have between our emotions and the heart, to have that split come together. The heart and the emotions are a compass when they are together. When they are apart, they are actually pulling us apart away from that central pillar. And that's why when life can become really complicated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so moving back to that chart that we saw, this is the pearl sequence: design Mars, design Jupiter, personality Jupiter, and personality Sun. So did you want to talk about the three wise men, Bella, and kind of what the analogy is for this?
So here we're really in the triangle of evolution, and now we are kind of into mystery school alchemy, the way that we're seeing this. So here we have the triangle of evolution. What does that mean? What is evolving? Well, the only thing that really exists is consciousness, or we can also say it's light. But if anybody know a little bit more, feel into Jinky 64. That's what I feel from that Jinky's consciousness. It's light. And when we look at the triangle, it's our consciousness that is evolving. It's going up into spirit. And this is what I feel the presence of the masculine is, the masculine triangle of evolution. And we have 3 guardians for this triangle. The 3 guardians is what you see here is Mars, it's Jupiter, and it's the sun. They are guarding this triangle of evolution of consciousness, of human consciousness. And that is half of the story, and a really important part of the story. And so far, the only part of the story that we actually have in the Jinky profile. But it doesn't end there. And this is an important first step when it comes to evolving, when it comes to using our energy with more lightness, with more serving the world and serving ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with these 3 wise men of the sky, they're wanting to bring you expansion. They're wanting to bring you prosperity. They're wanting to deliver their gifts to you. I mean, with Design Mars, right, we see this as our core wound, but it also becomes our vocation. So it's like we are the wounded healer, and we are transforming here to come into our highest service for the world. And then we have your Design Jupiter, and this is how you are coming into business and showing up on an everyday basis. And this is who you are externally. This is your brand. This is your doing. And then you can see how the personality Jupiter, your pearl, it impacts all of them. They're all connected here. I mean, this is where we have the pathway of the quantum with the pearl, right? It's impacting everything. So you are able to weave this pearl with everything. But what we're seeing is that you can't force yourself or push yourself into here to have these quantum leaps. You come in here and then you're not ready, and it knocks you back down. And when they can't find you because you're not in your body, or you're operating in your wounding, or you're not open to receive, they're like, okay, we're just gonna peace out. And it's not that they leave you. We're talking about these in archetypes, right? You can be fragmented, you can have dislocation, you can have stuff happening in your field where you are not completely in your wholeness, but you're not ever not whole. It's for the purpose of this, we're just showing them as archetypes, right? And we want you to be embodied. We want your purpose to be in your body. We want your soul to be in your body, because then you are going to be manifesting that purpose in the world through your body. And you'll have the most impact in your body. So to see, where are you leaving your body? Where are you dislocating from things? Where are you pushing away from things? Where is there discord happening?
And I'm also just saying, like, physical body, emotional body, they are very close. They are layered. So when we say being in your body, we mean the physical body, but it's also the etheric part, the ethereal part, the emotional part, the layering of our bodies. And if we can be in all our subtle bodies, then I can promise we're even more powerful. So the body is not just the physical, it's the layering of the body.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is getting into the part where we're going to bring it closer to home. So we've been looking at Jupiter, right? And if you look at Jupiter in the cosmos, Jupiter is far out there. It's hanging out with the gas giants. It's not close to us. What's close to us is the sun, the earth, and the moon. And so we're going to look at the moon. And Simone kind of had this epiphany about the moon earlier. She was the one that kind of brought this in when we were starting to talk about quantum prosperity and what we wanted to present and lay on the table for you guys. So Simone, did you kind of want to talk about what is soul embodiment? What does it mean to, why are we focusing on the moon? What does the moon have to do with anything?
Well, I love the attractor sphere. I'm gonna refer to our design moon as our attractor sphere, because for me, it's the most pragmatic way of understanding what you are putting out into the quantum field. So, what are you attracting? That is the litmus test. And I'm not saying that if you're attracting only good experiences, you are really vibrating. That's not the point. I mean, we're here for a wide variety of experiences. But what I am saying is that as we make quantum shifts in consciousness, as our particles go into wider and wider bandwidths, as we open up, our attractor sphere might call to us experiences that help us examine and pivot, um, so that we can fully embody that new bandwidth. But if you're if you're in your life going, why is this happening to me? What is this about? Why is this happening to me? That's what you're attracting. And so then if we use our attractor sphere as a litmus test of, oh, okay, I think I'm on the right track. Even though I have some challenges, I see how this is opening me up to receive more, to give more, to be as expansive as I possibly can. But if you're attracting experiences that you feel are collapsing you, then that's the litmus test, right? That's, oh, okay, what am I layering in with this desire, belief that I want to create abundance? What is the what are the other vibratory bands that I'm sending out into the universe through my attractor sphere? And what I love about the attractor sphere being the moon is this. Think about this. Um, it's the closest, I mean, the closest constellation to us is Earth because we're actually here. But the moon is circling us every 24 hours. It's like a rhythm. It's like being aware of what am I circling around, what's circling around me. And there were a lot of things that came together for us to really start understanding that what we're attracting through our attractor sphere is a litmus test of whether we're ready to open up to our pearl. There were many, many things that came together through the constellation of Ashley, Bella, and I and our teamwork through Unlock Your Design. And we've talked a lot about how the moon is intricately tied to the energy of the earth. So think about, the tides flowing in and out like a regular breath. Think about night and day flowing in and out as a regular breath. Think about women's moon cycles and how through that cycle of the moon, we become aware. And for me, the moon is such a powerful part of our astrological makeup because for 14 years, I sat in a Cherokee women's full moon circle. And so that, we went around the wheel once a year. We had the cycles of the moon. And when you start paying attention to the cycles of the moon, whether it's daily or every 28 days, what you really start to pay attention to, where is the sun in my field? How long is the day? You start to feel the tides in, the in and out of the pulse of the tide, of the pulse of the moon coming into your field. You start to pay attention, close attention to, where's the sun rising on my horizon in the morning? Where's the moon coming up? And start using those constellations to kind of track where you are in relationship to these planets. And then you start to track, what's going on in my environment with the trees, with the plants, with the birds, with the animals around me. How does the wind change the quality of the breeze that blows by me when you start to really pay attention to the moon? And then as we were working with people, we started seeing how the attractor sphere really started, when people were coming to us to talk about prosperity and opening up to more in their world, how the attractor sphere was really a pulse of what is going on. And then we started to realize that if you want to move into your pearl, be aware of what you're attracting through your attractor sphere.
Mm-hmm. And there was a question in the chat about what was the difference between design and personality moon, and with your attraction sphere, it's your design, so it's unconscious, and so you can't manipulate your attractor field. It is there, and it brings something to you, and in that bringing to you, you realize what's happening in your field. And that is where, we can move past this slide, but this is like all the things that are attracting to you. But I want to move to your pathway of Dharma. Dharma is your destiny, right? The universe from your being. You don't have to do to receive. The universe is going to deliver you your destiny, whether you're ready for it or not, whether you're asking for it or not, it's coming to you. And so the pathway of Dharma is the delivery of this destiny. And it is in that attraction sphere that you are it's the fulcrum. The attraction sphere is the fulcrum between the pathway of Dharma and the pathway of karma. And we're going to see that this fulcrum is like a teeter-totter. So life brings you some dharma, your destiny, and it is in your reaction or response to that that you're generating that karma. And you're telling the universe, I need more of this lesson because I can't find peace in it. I'm going to react to it. I don't want it. And so the universe is like, okay, let's bring more of it. You jump out of a relationship, jump into a new one, thinking it's going to be different, and it's not, because you haven't resolved any of the issues you've had in the previous one. And so dharma and karma, it's like this fulcrum. Are you generating this positive karma or this negative karma? Or are you neutralizing? And it's not that you're a bad person, you deserve bad karma. That's not what it is. It's literally your reaction or response to what your attractor field brings you. And so what Simone is talking about is that you are going to use that moon, your attractor sphere, to see what's vibrating in your field, what's coming to you. And she was talking about Jupiter as well. I mean, her epiphany came when she was talking about Jupiter, your pearl embodied, your pearl coming down into your body, into your attractor sphere. And so that law, that essence, that soul glow, that expansion is dropped down into your attractor field. And that is what is bringing things to you, because the universe is delivering you all these moments, all of these experiences, all these people to aid you in the expansion of your soul, to aid you in, your maturity, to aid you in, moving forward towards your destiny, your dharma. It's being delivered to you so that you can experience the abundance that's available to you, that these three wise men want to deliver to you, but you have to get into alignment for it. They're saying, I'm ready. I want to give you these gifts. You are prosperous. We want you to get into the field of quantum prosperity because we're ready to give you what you're asking for. But the way that you're aligning to being open to receive these things is that you're using your attractor sphere to see what's coming to you, what's manifesting around you, who is showing up in your life, what experience are showing up, and is it uncomfortable? Maybe. Is it amazing? Yes, always. And that's because it's going to help you align to receive and to be open to receive what it is that these three wise men, Mars, Jupiter, and the sun, want to deliver to you. And so that they can be expressed through you, so that your glow can be brighter. You can radiate more. Would you guys add anything else to this, Simone or Bella?
I'd love to hear what Bella has to say, but one thing that came up when you put this slide up is like the moon for me is like the pulse of your attraction. So because, it's the closest thing to us besides the earth. So it's almost like the pulse. And how is your attractor sphere pulsing with Jupiter? I love how you did this slide.
If I could make the moon pulse, I was trying to, but I couldn't make it pulse. But I thought that would be an awesome visual. But imagine the moon pulsing.
And I would just say we did something behind closed doors that has to do with that pathway of individuations. So if you are familiar with the pathway of individuation and the profile, you're going to know that what's between the pearl and the attraction is actually the SQ. And many times we say that SQ, it's the body, it's the child, but it's also the heart of the profile. It's the very center of the profile. And I don't know if we have decided how that present is going to be given to people, but Simone did a meditation and we did a little intro to actually allow, again, we can have this feeling of having a split in us, but with that meditation, what I could feel is that the sacral the sacral nature, like our sacral nature, our desire nature, our heart, our pearl, like there is some kind of alchemy that happened in that meditation. So that's something, I don't know how, but that we want to make accessible for people that are doing the masterclass.
It'll be up in the course. So if you registered for Quantum Prosperity, it's going to be in the course. I'm going to upload it with this video. So you're going to have the replay of today, of day 1. And then you'll also have that meditation that Simone and Bella facilitated and brought through. So both of those. So you'll have that treat. the present.
And you know, what's so important for me is that we are going to meet again tomorrow and the day after, but this is not theory. Like, I don't want you to really understand this with your mind. Like, if you go to sleep and there's nothing that sparked in you, or if you continue your day and there's nothing that changes, like, you can take this recording if it was something you could hold and throw in the rubbish bin. Like, if this is just another explanation of the hologenetic profile for you, it's like it has no value more than an orgasm for your mind. Like, what really has a value is when you start to embody what we were speaking about today, and you start to actually do it in your field. Then the openings can start happening, and you can watch them. And that's the beingness of these teachings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way in which these came to us was through the art of contemplation, and from us walking with these in our lives and seeing the patterns and seeing the formula. I have the 4th gene key, the 4th gate in my conscious moon, which is my drive. And some of you are asking the difference between conscious and unconscious. That's accessible to me. I know that I want to figure out the formula. I want to understand something. And so I'm constantly looking at things in different ways and contemplating them. And Bella and Simone are super stimulating for me because they want to understand too. They want to go into it too. And they're more than happy to have these kind of conversations where it's theoretical. But when you have these theoretical conversations and you start playing with the energy, it starts opening up and manifesting in your life. And you're like, wow, there's some merit to this. There's something here. So if you take this and decide, I want to weave these, I want to understand, I want to bring in my pearl and I want to bring in my attractor sphere, and I want to see how do we embody the pearl? What is my pearl? What is my law for expansion? And what is my attractor field? What are these experiences I'm bringing into my life to help enrich it, to help me come more into alignment, to thrive by design? Versus, the people that are half dead being like, I want abundance and I'm in lack and limitation. And it's like, you're half dead. You can't even accept it. If somebody was trying to hand you $100,000, you're like, no, that's not for me. I'm waiting over here for this door to open and don't give me that. I don't want that. Like, they can't see an opportunity when it knocks them in the face, but you're not like that because you're here. So we want you to take and walk with your moon. And we want you to start bringing it to your conscious side. Like, the more you look at the dark side of the moon, this is your unconscious. You're not aware of it. But guess what? Now you are aware of it. Now you get to look at it and see, oh, how is this showing up in my life? Where before it just kind of slapped you in your face every now and then. You're like, whoa, that was surprising. Well, for me, because mine is the gate of shock. So it's like, whoa, that's surprising. It shocks me into love, into the trust that there is a greater God, a greater spirit, a greater love out there. But I had to be shocked through agitation to be able to awaken me to the possibility that there's more, 51.6. So, I mean, this is something that you contemplate, and this is something that could open up and unlock something for you. So just walk with it.
And I want to say one thing before we end about the pearl and the attraction again. The glue that is going to make you glue the two together is love, it's the heart, it's your SQ. So when you can use that glue of the SQ, which is both what your inner child needed and maybe didn't get, which is also what connects, like the glue is the heart. And you, thanks to the hologenetic profile, you are going to see what your activation there is, and use that to glue together, or to connect is maybe a better word, those two spheres. And always remember to come back to the center of the chart, because that is going to make the flow of prosperity be much more able to go into different fields and quantum fields and pathways.
Mm-hmm. And play with your chart and know that it is not stagnant. It is not 2D. And can you imagine it in a different way? I think the thing that came to us was when we started to like fold the chart in half, and you can see how if you fold it in half, your attractor sphere and your pearl are sitting on top of each other, right? And then your life's work and your purpose, your doing and your being are on top of each other. You fold it another way, you're going to start seeing how things fold on top of each other. So you can't say that they're not connected, they're not related. And this isn't linear either. I mean, we make it a process and we're progressing through the chart, but it's not linear. Once you've gone through it one time, it's like it's like synapses in the brain that go just like all over the place. That's just how it works. It's beautiful. So yes, I hope that it sparked something in you, because we wanted to bring the mystery alive and bring it to the forefront. And I know that we kind of like, oh, we'll bring you into quantum prosperity. It's like everyone's like, oh, we're going to go into the pearl. But you really need to orient yourself with the moon first, because you need to see what you're attracting, because this is what's going to also give you access. It's your access point. You're going to see how to get into this field of quantum prosperity, which isn't just in the pearl, by the way. I mean, there's way more features and aspects to quantum prosperity than what's these planets that are in the pearl sequence. We're just bringing in this system to help you. It's like a quest, it's a map, it's a way that you're going to venture there and start to taste these different frequencies. And then with your contemplation and your play, which play should be in every part of your life, you're going to be able to bring in more things and things that aren't even in human design or gene keys. You're going to start bridging in different areas, and you're going to start bringing in new things and innovating there. And that's what makes life so amazing, because you can go where no one has gone before. And we're meant to do that. Like, I'm going to stop I'm going to stop sharing for the rest of the thing, but it's so important for us to get outside of the box. And we use these systems as a box to help you know yourself and understand yourself. And then you can be like, I don't need these. I'm quantum. I'm expansive. And I know the tiniest infinitesimal part of me, my essence, my spark. I know that tiny, tiny, tiny quantum essence of me. And so now I know all of me. So we are just orienting you, with a microcosm, because then you know the macrocosm. It's beautiful.
I think Joy had a question, and you had the 18, your attraction sphere, and it's judgment in the low frequency, and it's integrity in the gift frequency, and expansion in the highest frequency. And I feel like mine is a little bit similar. I have arrogance in the low frequency, and then leadership and humility. And I do know what arrogance is, and I can spot it easily in myself and in others. So like a simple way would be to start tracking in your life, where is there integrity? Because when I start to spot leadership, and I become like a bloodhound, I don't know if you say that in English, but like this dog that can really like smell everything. When I start to smell my path of leadership, then I'm suddenly, in that frequency where that happens. So instead, like Richard Rudd says, he says, focus 10% on the shadow and 90% on the gift and the city. So where's your perspection? Where's your integrity? Where do you smell that in others? And see if that's a more fun place to create from. That would be my short way of looking at your your way of wanting to open up from judgment to a higher frequency.
Okay. I'm so glad that you were all here. I'm going to just check if there was any more questions. But remember, tomorrow we're not coming live. We're just going to be in the Zoom container. So if you guys are already in the Zoom container, it's going to be the same place, same time tomorrow and the day after. For those of you that are watching live on Facebook, you're going to want to get into our course, our digital course, because that's going to give you the replays. Simone's goodie, her gift. You're attracting things into you that you didn't even know that you were signing up for. Like, this is a little gift that Simone and Bella did on the weekend because they were like, we got to do this. And so they recorded it. It's going to be delivered to you. And it's almost like, here's our gift of prosperity to you too. It's an extra that you didn't know that you were getting. So just be open to receive it. And all you have to do is sign up to get into the course. And it's there with the replays and then the community. If you want to have conversations and go into things deeper, maybe there's somebody who shares the same attractor sphere as you, or maybe somebody has the same pearl, or maybe somebody can shed some light on that for you. Maybe your unconscious moon, your attractor sphere, is somebody's sun. And they're like, I know this like the back of my hand because it's like, I live with it every day. So connect.
And also I wanted to say, remember that the infinity sign and the altruism, if you know anybody that you feel would benefit from this, send them the link, tell them to sign up. That's a way of having that eternal flow of giving other people the possibility for their expansion as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're constantly going to be sharing what we are bringing through and living in our life, and we hope that you do the same. And it's not like, I'm going to hoard this knowledge and nobody else can have it because I'm going to one up everybody else. Like, you can't have that. You can't be in quantum prosperity. No, I'm sorry. Get out of here. That's not altruism. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. The replay will be up on Thinkific, and I'm just going to pop this on the screen one more time if this shows up. I want to give you guys the link. So here's the link to join. bit.ly/I-am-quantum. So I-am-quantum.
I don't think it's loading yet, so just leave it it's white on my screen still.
Oh, it might not work. I'll post it in the, yeah, it's still white. And I think it's because I X'd out of it. But if you're meant to be in the container, you're meant to be in the container. bit.ly/I-am-quantum. So join us tomorrow, 3 p.m. This will only be an hour tomorrow. We're going to be opening up the challenge. And then right after it, we're going to be meeting with Tim for our series.
Buckle up with popcorn and candy or more maybe better nutritional things tomorrow, like 2 hours in a row.
Yes. Tomorrow will just be 1 hour for quantum prosperity. But I look forward to seeing you. And thank you so much for joining us live and being in this container. We had about a little bit more than 100 people join today from what I could see. So thank you so much for being here with us, and we appreciate you. And we can't wait to share some more with you tomorrow.